B Mark speaking.
Oh dear, that's interesting. Well, we're the Ronald brothers, and we got involved in scootering through our own parents, actually, because my father he bought an LD Lambretta in the late 1950s, and that's how we first got into the Lambretta world. He used to take me to work when I was going to work in those days on the back of his Lambretta. And he then sold that and he bought one of the first LI Lambrettas that came in. That was the one with the headlamp down on the front, down near the mudguard there, sort of thing. And it was around about that time when I bought my first Lambretta, which was an LI where the headlamp had been put on the top of the handlebars. We also, my father, he was involved in the Bowman Lambretta Club at Nottingham when it first got started. There was a group of people got together who got the LD Lambrettas, and they formed the scooter club called the Bowman, and that was the club we were part of when we were racing and riding our bikes over the various years we've been doing it. Norman, when he came in, he wasn't a Lambretta rider originally. He hadn't learned how to use he got a little Honda.
No, I didn't. Start with the Pooch.
Oh, the Pooch.
Started
That's
with
right.
the
He got a
Pooch
little Pooch.
60C Cheetah, which the Pooch you've got round the corner there very much. I mean, that's a bigger bike, obviously, but it reminds me of it. Same colour, actually. And then after that, I had the Honda 50. I wanted the motorbike, but my mother wouldn't let me have it. I had to have a scooter. And then after that, I ventured into, I had a wander onto a Vespa, didn't I?
Yeah,
a Vespa
did, yeah.
SS. The Vespa, not SS, Vespa Sportique.
That's it.
And I did my first Isle of Man on the Sportique and also did the Scoot Scotland. Somebody put my arm up my back and twisted me into, or persuaded me to buy a Lambretta, which was mainly, I think, Malcolm Clarkson from Supertune. Don't know why he was giving me so much earache, but he was.
Well, generally, with us being involved in the Lambretta Bowman at Nottingham, slowly things started to happen where the gymkhanas started to happen. And we got going to the gymkhanas where they were doing these various events where you're doing a slow ride or you're going over balancing planks and all sorts of things and slalom rides and all that. Slowly it got faster and it developed from there. That then they started having grass track racing and things like that. And the first major, well, they used to have road trials. There was a lot of road trials then around, which we used to go on with the various clubs used to organise them around the UK, which we used to go to, like the Starlight Trial and the Cambrian Trial and the SO Scoot to Scotland and all these sort of things. My first major event was to go to the Isle of Man in 1963. It was the very first time I went on my TV 175, and it was the year after when you followed on your
64.
bike. Yeah, it didn't go when I first went. And I was there with the Nottingham Outlaws and the Nottingham Bowmen and all these other clubs. So that's how it started.
But I mean, in the early stages, there was a guy in the Nottingham Lambretta Club who we got on very well with, Roger Crook.
Mm-hmm.
And in 64, when I went, the three of us made up a team, didn't we? There was you, Roger, myself, under the name of the Bowman. And Roger won the event outright. He was one of the few people on a GT 200, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And the three of us we all got gold medals and whatever have you, and we won the team event, didn't we? So we had a team sort of like of two Lambrettas. Well, it was the GT 200, your TV 175, and my Sporty 150. And I think that's a lot of the reason why they were having to go at me as to why I was on a Vespa and not on a Lambretta. So the Vespa got traded in for the Lambretta pacemaker.
That was when we got the SX, wasn't it?
Yeah, basically after the end of the 66 championship, I basically traded my pacemaker in for the Fiat 500. And so I didn't have a bike. John had got his in bits for some reason, so we didn't have a bike for Snetterton. And then John suggested, he said, Arthur, give him a ring and see if he'll lend you a bike. So tongue in cheek, I rang up Arthur and said, "Is there any chance of you borrowing a bike for Snetterton?" Explained the situation, and much to my surprise, I was welcomed with open arms. "What would you like to have?" He said, "I've got a brand new SX200 in the showroom, just come back from it'd been out to a magazine on trial, got every gadget on it going, twin spots, the lot." He says, "Come and collect it." So I went down and collected it, and we basically put our bits and pieces on it, which was the means of enabling us to keep time as we were going round throughout the night. And we were fortunate enough to win the event, and which was the first time Arthur had ever won the event. So he was over the moon, and it was like, as long as you want to keep riding, I'll provide you a bike. So that's how it started. John and myself had then started to do the sort of championship that ran throughout the year for the Lambretta Champion of Great Britain. So we started entering that event, and Arthur was in the early stages of doing the S-type. But the sort of things, you talk about Arthur. I mean, I remember going to a scramble meet somewhere down in Luton, and we went. At one stage, we were thinking about, did we want to get into this kind of thing, and Roy was there with Arthur, and Arthur was sort of couldn't have been standing too far away from us, and Roy was on the bike. And I know he came round, and I can't remember how that track went, but he went over kind of a bit of a hill hump, and as he went over the hump, the handlebars came away from the forks. And you kind of get this from, I remember Arthur shouting, "Keep the throttle on the stop, you'll be all right." that always reminds us of Christine. That's the girlfriend, now my wife. When we were in the Isle of Man and we were on the Druridale, and we were sort of like, we used to spend many hours sort of practicing it, and sort of going from corner to corner so that we'd get up as quick as we could. And Arthur would be shouting things like, "Keep the throttle on the stop and crank it over a bit further." And you think, well, when the silencer is rubbing on the deck, Arthur, what do you want me to do with it? So that was typically Arthur. He was a character. No other way of putting it, was there? He was a great character. The Isle of Man, I think, for me.
Well, that was the favourite event, yeah.
That was the favourite event. Yeah, the Isle of Man.
The Isle of Man was quite a major event with lots going on. I mean, it was a full week of competition and also entertainment as well, because there used to be different parties each night. Lambretta Club did one, Vespa Club did one, the Isle of Man did one, and so on. And they had civic receptions and everything else there. It was quite a major event, it really was. And
you met up with other people, in sort of like in the Vespa world, because mainly you got all the Lambretta events was obviously all Lambretta. So it was one of the few major events where we met up with the Vespa guy. I mean, you know, you'd meet up there every year, and you'd
Plus, there was teams coming over from Italy. We even had them coming over from with a Java team came over one time. They got all these Java scooters racing and things like that. We had teams like Rally put a team in, the Rally bicycle people. They put a team with Rally Romers in.
Yeah, the Rally Romers one thing.
They were in there taking part. There was all sort. It was a massive event. It was the biggest event going at the time. Well, there's more stuff around most than when we were riding and racing bikes. I mean, there's that much tuning stuff around now. It's unbelievable. I can't believe that you can build a brand new bike on parts which are tuned. The engine, you can get the castings now. You can get the engine part, the cylinders, the carburetors, the electronics, everything like you make in here. You name it, you can get it. You know, before it was just basic components, and if you wanted to tune it, then you had to play with the basic components, and that was it, sort of thing. Yes, I've been quite impressed with what I'm seeing. I mean, I don't know of anybody else in the country who's got the sort of engineering facilities that you've got here, so that you can produce an excellent product at the end of the day.
I'd agree with that. I mean, you know, we've wandered around a lot of places, haven't we? Sort of on and off in times. And coming from an engineering background, I find it extremely interesting because it's something I've done all my life. So I just find it very interesting the way, you know, Mark's going about it and the kind of things he's doing. And it's impressive.
Well, yeah, I mean, the book which we've done together with Stuart Owen, who's our ghostwriter, who lives in Portugal, and it is a complete life history of what we've done within the Lambretta world over the years, and bringing it up to the modern day time. Which it's nice that you can put something down, the history of what you have done over the years. A lot of people don't know the history of what happened and how it happened. I mean, years ago, like when we were riding the Lambrettas and you started winning things like Norman, he won a brand new bike, a brand new Lambretta, the golden Lambretta, which was sponsored by the Daily Mirror, was it?
Mirror, yeah.
Yeah, Daily Mirror. The other people who were involved were Hepworths, the tailors. And we had wardrobes full of Hepworth suits
Made to measure.
Made to measure, haven't they? And there was Shell involved, Shell oil. Got 5-gallon drums of 2-stroke oil, you know, sort of thing in the garage, which is one of the various events.
Yeah. Think of the name of the petrol.
National Benzel.
National Benzel.
Yeah.
National Benzel.
They used to give you fuel.
100 gallons. No, I mean, what do you do with 100 gallons? You go and fill your bike up at the pump free every time you want some. That kit's been going for ages, didn't it?
I mean, there was a lot of big sponsorship years ago, but that was Lambretta Concessionaires. And
Bob Wilkinson.
Bob Wilkinson, who was the PR man for Lambretta. And he put a fantastic show on of stuff, what he was doing over the years. And we became very good friends with Bob.
Firstly, it was just a case of making sure the record was straight, because you do sort of see a lot of things on the internet and things, and you think, no, that didn't happen. That's not correct. So I think from that point of view, at least it's sort of, it's at least the record's straight. What's in there, we know is the truth. You know, how it happened.
We've enjoyed our times with Lambretta, so much so that we've both still got bikes now, which we've built and completely renovated. I'm in the middle of doing a Vega at the moment, which I'm completely renovating. It's a hobby now, isn't it? Pastime from something that we enjoyed doing in the past.
LambrettaSpares.com.